Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So I'm going to attempt to touch up the paintwork on the Tots 2018 1/6 scale Michael Myers figure head sculpt. This head sculpt is currently on my custom figure setup. It's on the taller body with the actual coveralls made by Tanila herself, the lady who passed over her design to Tots to make their coveralls for the figures. And it all just looks fantastic. And do you know what? Looking at this, it doesn't even need repainting. It doesn't. I'm sure most people look at it and think, what are you doing? It's fine, leave it alone. And it is. But I got some amazing reference pictures from the Sean Clark video on YouTube where he visited Nick Castle, and we get to see the screen used Nick Castle mask from all angles in broad daylight, close-up HD video. So I just want to kind of tweak it a little bit more in that direction. But as you can see, it really doesn't need it. So I'm not going to film myself painting. I doubt I'm going to do that, folks. This is such a scary mask to repaint because it has to be right. So I'm going to I'll check in with you as I'm doing it and show you stages, but I don't really want the camera rolling while I'm recording because I'll start talking, I'll start screwing around, and then I'll screw something up. I've got all the things I need. I've got my little Q-tips here. That's for if you make a mistake or if you get too much paint, you can quickly get in there with one of these and kind of absorb some extra, you know, because I water down the paint a fair bit when I'm working. It's very professional. Here's all my paints. I'm always getting asked what kind of paints I use. Try and find you one here that isn't covered in paint. Here you go. You got Revel Aqua Color. That's what I use. They come in these little blue tubs. I got brown, green, red, white, black, blue, and I'll just mix stuff together to make any other kind of tones that I need. And I got all my little paint brushes. Got some really, you know, I've said before, you need the right tools for the job when it comes to something like this. It makes it a lot less scary. So I've got some really fine tipped brushes here. That's quite a small one that will help me get into the cracks and the crevices of the mask. But yeah, I've got all kinds of little brushes here. There's some are even smaller tipped than that. So yeah, let me get started. I'll explain what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do what I did with the 78 and just completely repaint it. This is more of a touch-up. I'm not going to be completely coating this in like an off-white and then going in and doing a black wash in the cracks. I'm going to do the black wash in the cracks first, and it's not necessarily going to be a black wash. It may be more of a kind of brownish wash in the cracks, just to bring out certain cracks a little bit more. And then I'm going to go in with the off-white on the cheekbones, the nose, the chin, and just kind of get a bit more of a, you know, a look that I really kind of want for this. But like I've said, man, it clearly doesn't even need repainting. It's a fantastic sculpt to paint work for. The price point is really, really good. But you know what I like to do? I like to mess around and just tinker with things, so it should be a fun one. So anyway, I'll get started. Alright, just to show you some of the reference pictures I'm using. These are all stills I took from the Sean Clark video on YouTube where he meets up with Nick Castle. This is the one that Nick Castle wore in the scene where Laurie first sees Michael up in the window and she shoots at the reflection in the mirror. This is that mask. So not the one that was, you know, the real hero from, you know, the majority of the movie. I believe Mr. Christopher Nelson has that one. You can see it in the background when he's doing his Thing with Two Heads podcast with Sean Clark, the channel where I found this. If you type in the Thing with Two Heads podcast on YouTube, it'll take you to his channel and you can see this video and all the other cool stuff. You know, just, Halloween fans wet dream. It's it's a really cool channel. So this is the front view. I'll be using this. I can zoom in. I can check the colors. As you can see, it's kind of like an off-white, like a, you know, I'll start with white paint and then I'll mix in a little bit of yellow, tiny bit of brown, and just have to be a tiny speck of those colors though introduced. You don't want it to get too dark. You don't want it to be too yellow. So, and as you can see, I want to go in with a black wash in certain areas. I think a black wash is necessary, like the corners of the mouth here. That's pretty damn black. And these certain areas around the eye holes, definitely that's black. That's black. Well, you know, it might not be black paint on the mask, but it certainly is appearing that way in broad daylight when this video was done. So as you can see, a little bit more of a black wash up here. And, you know, I mean, it's great reference. I can copy the hell out of this. That's what I'm going to do. At least I have this to copy, so I can't really go too wrong. I'm just hoping the paint takes to the head sculpt well enough. And you've got a great side profile from this side and the other side, so I can really scrutinize all the details here. Right, so basically, yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be copying this as best I can. I might not go this detailed because I'll be here all night. I'll be here for the rest of the week doing this, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm nervous, guys, because this is a lot of detail to try to recreate on a 1/6 scale head. I'm no professional painter. I've done stuff in the past, but it's just experimenting, really. I'm not, I'm not one of those guys out there who, does commissions. I do commissions. Shut up. I don't know what I'm talking about. I do some stuff. I'm not as good as the other folks, so I'm alright. And there's the other side too. Again, we get a really clear look at how this should be. Well, for this particular mask anyway. The actual hero that was worn for, like 80%, maybe 90% of the movie, that is slightly different. I do have some pictures of that, but they're not as good as these pictures as far as, really being able to zoom in and check the detail and copy stuff. So, and the hair as well, you can really scrutinize the color and the style of it. And if you guys haven't watched the video where I got to do an interview with Christopher Nelson, the man who made these masks for the movie, that's on the channel. It's only a few videos back. We sat and talked for like 45 minutes about this mask and werewolves and other cool monsters as well. So if you haven't seen it, check it out, and if you enjoy it, spread the word, because more people should see that interview. He was saying some really interesting things about this mask that I'd never heard before. So yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. Alright, well, I've got my pictures, so now it's just time to bite the bullet and start painting. Ooh, nervous. But just while I've got that up on the screen, you see it's just, there's definitely a more of a blue tone to this one. Kind of a blue and white paint scheme going on. And obviously that's very different from how this looks. So that's basically what I want to try and do. I want to change this into that. So, I mean, as you can see, the wrinkles and the cracks in the mask, they are quite prominent there. So I shouldn't have too much trouble. Nice watered down blackwash paint, like basically a blob of water with a pinch of black added to it to get a nice watery black wash that I can then use a tiny little brush to get in there, and then let that kind of sit and let it dry. And then I can just go around all the cracks carefully with my new kind of off-white color. So I'm gonna do the cracks first, which is a bit weird. Believe me, I'm thinking to myself, that doesn't seem like the way to do it. But usually you just, paint the whole thing, the base tone, and then do the cracks with a black wash and then do more work. But I'm going to do the cracks first, because I'm not totally repainting it, I'm more touching it up, just fixing it a little bit. So black washing the cracks, and then I'll do the rest later. But I'll stop now and then I'll show you how it looks with the black wash and the cracks, bring them out a little bit more, making them a bit more prominent. Really doesn't need it though, does it? I mean, look at it, it's fine. Right folks, so I'm just kind of winging it at the moment and trying to copy this as best as possible. You might not be able to tell much of a difference yet, but I've gone over the cheekbone area, the bridge of the nose, some of the forehead, the chin, and did a black wash and some of the cracks to bring them out a little bit more. So I'm still taking me time, but I'll keep you posted. So far it's no regrets so far. It's just bringing out the detail really. Still trying to get rid of the blue look, but I'm gradually getting there. Well, obviously once I'm satisfied with the kind of off-white that I'm doing, I'm going to go in with a bit more of a brown and yellow wash in certain areas. But nowhere near done yet, but so far so good. Alright, so still working away. I've been here for about half an hour now, just working away on it. It's definitely coming along. It's starting to look really, really cool. I'm toning down that blue gradually. I don't think you can see much of the blue anymore. So this is mostly just off-white work that I'm doing at the moment. You can barely even see it there, to be honest. Just very kind of gradual. Now I'm starting to get a bit braver. So I'm starting to go in and sort of correct the kind of dark greenish brown color that was around the eyes. It's still supposed to be discolored, but I'm just toning it back a little bit, but it's really starting to happen. Obviously I haven't done anything as far as all that discoloration around the neck and around near the ear, all those kind of browns and yellows and, you know, all that stuff. I'm just trying to tone down the blue at the moment, but so far I think it's looking really, really good. I mean, it's a friggin' amazing sculpt. It really is. So I'm not done yet. Still working. I'll check back in with you soon. Right, so I've still got all the wrinkles and the cracks. I'm not finished yet. I'm just taking a bit of a break. But I've done the discoloration around the neck. I might do some more of that. I've actually done quite a bit of different tones, which you can't see too well, and that's the main thing. I'm glad that you can't see it too obviously. There is some browns around the kind of jawline. I've done the blood around the eye. Maybe did a little bit too much blood around the eye, but I can easily fix that. Just go back. I mean, I'm not finished painting. I still need to go over there and finish, but did the little speck of blood on his chin as well, and added a bit of red around the puncture wound. Some more weathering on the neckline. Yeah, so far it's looking pretty scary, and we haven't lost any detail on the sculpt, so that's good. So you got your 1978, the 2018. But yeah, not finished yet. Might tone down the red around the eye. Depends on where you're looking at it from, really. Yeah, it's not too bad. Not too bad. Trying to just tone down that blue look that it had. I think I've managed to achieve that pretty well. But again, not finished. Still got work to do. Still got work to do, folks. But so far, I'm digging it. I'm happy with the results. Alright, so I'm going to call it a day. It's a little bit washed out with all these lights pointing at him right now. But that's about it. That's all I'm going to do. I think I've done enough, man. It's taken away the blue look. Haven't lost any of the detail. We've got some really cool discoloration around the back of the neck and the neckline. It's really not coming across on camera. It's way more intense than this in person. Let me just move around a bit here, see if I can get it happening for you. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. So let me just change the settings on the camera and get you a bit more of a true representation of how this is actually looking in person. Alright, so using the Pro mode video instead, get a little bit better. See all the discoloration around the neckline? And you can see more discoloration around the jawline, the blood on the chin, the discoloration under the nose, the discoloration around the eye holes, and back up off it, back up, and we'll get in there a little bit more. But yeah, man, I haven't lost any detail, which I'm really glad about. That's the main thing I was worried, really, was losing the wrinkles and the cracks, but we have not lost any of that, and I'm really happy with that. That looks pretty damn good. I think I'll leave well enough alone now before I overdo it, but I've toned down that blue look that it had, and I'm really happy with the results. Might put it on the rotating base for you before I wrap things up and show it rotating on the base. This is just my little project for now, just repainting this, trying to get it looking just right. I'm really happy with that. Alright, now, yeah, a few more angles, and then I'll put it on the rotating base. That looks fantastic. But the main thing is it doesn't look repainted. That's what I was really trying to avoid, was that kind of look that it's been painted by me. And it's nice and subtle. The effect is clear as day, but it is a nice subtle paint job. I took my time doing it to make sure that you couldn't tell it had been painted. And I think that has come along really nicely. Very, very cool. And there's all my little bits of dried up paint that I was using. And like I said, folks, I was using the Revel Aqua Color. And yeah, let's get it on the rotating base and wrap it up. But I am pleased with that. It was a scary one to do, this one. It was, you know, a lot more nerve-wracking than the 78, but the results have turned out to be worth it. Alright, so the head sculpt is on the rotating base, and you can get a nice look at the paintwork here. And I'm happy with the results. I will probably go in and tweak a few things in the coming days. There's still I didn't really go near green, the color green with this, and I know you're thinking, well, I don't remember green being on the mask, but it's very, very, very subtle. It's not just straight up green. There's there's yellows and yellowish green, kind of mold, kind of mildew, nasty kind of 40-year-old latex mask kind of. You know, there's a fair bit going on color wise, but it's not too much, because at the end of the day, in a lot of the pictures, it still kind of has that white ghostly, not white like the 78, more of an off-white now because it's 40 years later, but still does retain a fair bit of that ghostly white look in places. Cheekbones, bridge of the nose, some of the forehead, chin, and then around the side by the ears and the jawline, you get a bit more discoloration. There's a lot going on. Not on this, you know, I'm talking about the real deal. It's very hard to repaint it and try and get it anywhere near movie accurate, but I've managed to tone down that blue. I'm happy about that, and I haven't screwed anything up. I haven't lost any detail, so I'm really happy about that. I'm glad that I decided to do it the way I did, as in not starting off by just doing a base coat all over the face and then doing a black wash to try and get the cracks to appear again. I think that probably could work, but I just felt like it wasn't the way to go for me. I'm pretty sure I would have been unhappy with the results for that. So then I thought best to just go in, highlight some of the cracks a little bit more with a black wash, and then go in and go around the cracks with my new kind of off-white paint job. And then once that was done, going around some other key areas. The tip of the nose has been weathered and discolored a fair bit now. Obviously around the neckline and the back of the neck, that's been seriously tweaked. Let me just bring this light in a little bit more. Yep, it's looking alright. I don't want to oversaturate it, but or overlight it. Tone it down a touch. There we go. That looks good. I still love the hair. I haven't done anything to the hair. I probably would have done a few little highlights of lighter brown here and there, but to be honest, I don't actually have a brown paint that I can use. It's completely dried up. So it's only good for a brown wash. I just basically wet the paintbrush and dig it into the dry paint and just try and get some brown wash happening. But as far as actually doing proper painting, I don't have the brown right now, so I'm going to have to get some new paint. But yeah, I'm really happy with the results. Like I say, I'll probably go back and tweak a few things, a little bit more discoloration on top of, well, it's hard to explain these things. Basically, I'm not finished. I'm going to go back and just I'm not going to overdo it. I'm not going to go near the white sections. I just want to, you know, just want to tweak a few things once I've got the tools for the job. Hang on, before I wrap it up, I want to get more of a kind of looking down like this kind of angle. So I'm just going to crudely put some blue tack there, just so we can get this kind of angle. I know it looks terrible with the blue tack at the back, but it's mainly just because I want this particular angle as he comes around here. I want to see how that looks. Up that a little bit. Here we go. Here he comes. I think that looks good, man. That looks nice. It's a hell of a sculpt. I figured I might as well put all of the Tots head that I actually have repainted on the rotating base, and you can see them all. Obviously I've got the part 5 over here, but I didn't touch that, so I'll leave that out of the equation. But yeah, repainted the part 4 there, a more stark white, and I think that's all I did to that. And obviously I've just repainted the 2018. That's come out nice. And here's the more weathered version of the 78 that I repainted. I do have another one that I repainted also, but that's more just a stark white. But that one there does have a bit more weathering on it. So that is a nice little look at all my repainted Tots heads. Absolutely love the 2018 and the 78 sculpts. Not so much of a aficionado or whatever when it comes to part 4 and 5. I'm really not a big fan of the look of Michael Myers, and the look has to be good for me to really invest in any way. So yeah, really happy with the H40 and the 78. I mean, the part 4 and part 5, they've captured it. Absolutely. It's just I'm not a massive fan of that look. Really big fan of the 78 and H40. That's my jam. So there you go. And here's a little peek at the H40 on the custom body. So he's taller with the totally custom Tanila's Customs coveralls and the knife by Tanila's Customs. The Tots repainted head. I believe it's the JX02 body, but I've done a lot to it. I filed in his arms at the sides with a Dremel, like got rid of a lot of the muscle to give him a bit more of a kind of, not thin at all, but he was way too wide before, like his shoulders just went on forever, so I've Dremeled them both in and it's just a much better shape now, if you'll pardon the pun. Ah, come on man, look at that. Jesus. There it is. And of course the 78. That's absolutely awesome. They are together. And you got a nice height difference. Obviously the 78 base is a little bit taller. So he's actually... will he stand up on his own? I forget. He probably will. Oh, he will. He's got those plastic boots in. They're really good. Alright, so you stand there, mister. I don't know if Mr. Big Custom H40 here will stand up on his own. Hopefully he will. Oh, damn it. He's got a waist grabber. That's right. That's why the base is not falling when I'm doing this. Yeah, he's got a waist grab. I ain't messing with that. That's too much work. So you'll just have to factor in a little bit of extra height that the H40's getting, but that looks pretty good. Holy smokes. Damn. It's business time. Look at that. That's beautiful.